My special guest today, she was the first woman to officially run the Boston Marathon back in 1967. She then raced again 50 years later. And at 72, she is the living embodiment of healthy aging. I interviewed her, I think, a few years ago about that historical day at the Boston Marathon, and she is back today to talk about the simple ways to empower seniors to start their personal health journey today. Kathrine Switzer is joining me, and alongside of her, National Senior Games athlete Carol Kleffner. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you, Wendy. It's great to be here.
I'm so happy to have you guys back. Kathrine, really quick, just for the audience that didn't hear your interview last time or don't know, that famous photo of you at the Boston Marathon was voted one of the 100 photos that changed the world. Not only did you change it that day in Boston in 1967, but you kept the momentum going, breaking barriers, pushing borders for seniors. Amazing. And for women all over.
Yeah, it was for women then, and we were really successful, Wendy, in that revolution. I remember our interview at that time. The official tried to throw me out of the race. I was only 20 years old. I had trained mightily for the Boston Marathon. I wasn't there to prove anything. I was there as a reward from my coach, who didn't believe any woman could run the marathon. When I proved him in practice, he helped sign me up and take me to Boston. I didn't think I needed to sign up for the race, and he said, oh, no, this is a serious race. You have to sign up for it. And so I was assigned bib number 261, along with my teammates. They all had bib numbers, and I thought nothing of it except for the fact that I was excited, and all the men in the race were very welcoming. But at a mile and a half into the race director jumped off the press truck and attacked me and tried to rip off my bib number 261 and throw me out of the race simply because I was a woman. And it's funny in the retelling because my boyfriend hit the official, and the official went out of the race instead, and I went on to finish, but it was an event that changed my life. And in the end, after all this time, 50 years later, I have to say that probably that was one of the worst things, if not the worst things that had happened in my life, and yet it became one of the best things.
Oh, my God.
So it's a real story of optimism, perseverance, and tenacity, which is, what we're talking about today, even now with the National Senior Games and moving into old age with good health.
With good health and keeping active. I just have to say, those images of that day, April 19th, 1967, I mean, when you look back at those images, what was your thought when they grabbed you and they tried to get you off? Was it for a second? I know you said for a split second you thought about getting out, but then you were like, no.
For a split second, of course, I was embarrassed and terrified and very, very, I guess humiliated, is the way I felt. I felt so unwelcome. And for a split second, I thought perhaps I should step off the course because perhaps I was invading some sacred space that I wasn't supposed to be a part of. But then I said, if I do that, nobody's going to believe me. Nobody's going to believe women. Nobody's going to believe we deserve to be there. And I said, I have to finish this race now, no matter what. Even on my hands and my knees, I have to finish this race. And so, as I said, it really did change my life through the course of the marathon, which always gives you kind of a focus on life and gives you a sense of vision. I realized that the official wasn't to blame. He was just a man who was a product of his time, but that women themselves needed opportunities. Talent and capability are everywhere. It just needs an opportunity. And if I could create those opportunities for women, that they would come out and run. And of course they did. And that's what I spent my life doing. It was an amazing career path.
It was just made for you on that day, in that moment, when you made you finished 4 hours and 20 seconds, 20 minutes later. Oh my God, what was that like when you went through that finish line?
Well, I was very relieved, but I was greeted by, very, very irascible journalists at the time, and I really had to then go run the gauntlet again with them and convince them that I deserved to be there, but they were not very, very convinced. But I'll tell you, Wendy, you said, that was such a bad thing, and I often think that people always have an opportunity. You said I was the right person at the right time. we all have the right moment at the right time. We just need to act on it. You can have something happen to you and not take responsibility for it, or you can take responsibility for it and pass on the things you know, and try to make positive change. And that's what I've tried to do, and that's what I've tried to do in associating myself with other people and other corporations who believe in that same sense of optimism and responsibility of helping people take control of their lives, their health, and their destinies.
When you look back at those pictures and those memories, and what do you tell yourself now? Would you have done the exact same thing?
Oh, yes, I know I would have done the exact same thing in that situation, but I still look at the face of that girl, who's being attacked by the official, and I said, she was only 20 when she made a decision that changed the world. And I'm thinking, how did I do that? And I'll tell you how I did it is because I had already a victory under my belt every day that nobody could take away from me, and that was because I went out and put my one foot in front of the other and just went running every day, and it always gave me my sense of self. That's why I love people just to get moving a little bit, to take that first step, whether it's getting back in shape or getting over a knee replacement or just saying, okay, it's time. I've got to start. I've got to walk just out to the mailbox before I can start jogging. And it changes their lives.
But the next revolution is in aging. We are now the generation that is pushing the barriers in terms of active aging and showing that the more active you can be for your whole life, the longer, better, more optimistically you live. And one of the things I'm excited about today to talk about, and I will let Carol get a word in here, is that we're here because both of us are preparing for the National Senior Games presented by Humana. And Humana and I have partnered and share this belief that if you give people the opportunities to have fun and socialize and have whole body health, whole person health, it is one of the most important things that we can do for our futures.
Oh, I totally agree. And you're the living embodiment of that, as well as Carol. Carol, you tell us about how you got involved with the National Senior Games and a little bit about you.
Sure. I was at a challenging point in my life when my husband passed away. I got laid off from my full-time job, and I wound up at home with a lot of time on my hands, starting up a freelance gig. And it was like I was at a crossroads. How do I fill this time?
Right.
And I got the inspiration from a documentary about ping pong. And I thought, this is a sport that I could do for the rest of my life. So I went down to the gym where there's ping pong, and I took it up, and I really enjoyed it. I joined a women's league. I got tired of losing. And I realized that I had a knack for it, and that I could get some coaching and have even more fun by winning once in a while.
Oh, my gosh, I love that. So you guys are prime examples that speak up for what you believe in. This passion of yours in running and inspiring people. What are some of the feedback that you've had?
For me, I've had wonderful feedback because women really are transformed, and men too, by running. And basically, it's not just running. It's really doing anything, Wendy. Getting out the door, getting moving, meeting other people. And the National Senior Games, which are going to be in Albuquerque from June 14th to the 25th, are a wonderful opportunity for 13,000 people. It's the biggest sports activity for seniors in the world. And there are 20 sports that they can get involved with. And honestly, everybody is all ages, all abilities, all sizes. It's for anybody.
And how many are you expecting there?
13,000.
Wow.
Yeah, it's huge.
Wow.
Huge. And Carol's going to be slinging this paddle.
Yeah, this will be my second National Senior Games. And the first time I went, which was last time, I was blown away by the other athletes and how grateful they were to be there and the joy that they had in still being able to participate and be competitive.
It's so cool that Humana has given us this wonderful experience because it's not often in life that you actually can get better at something as you age. So when you pick up something, Wendy, like Carol did with ping pong, she's only going to improve as she ages, which is great.
That I think it is great, and I do believe that the secret to aging with optimism, like you both have said, and you continue to say, is to keep moving, and it doesn't necessarily have to be running. It can be any kind of physical activity or mental.
It can even be walking, and the thing is that it's never too late to learn and never too late to change and become active, and it adds a real excitement and pleasure to your life.
And it's fun. I mean, really, it really is. These people are having the best times of their lives. And, for years and years, people have said to seniors, oh, you need to slow down and sit down and take it easy. Well, that's not about the worst thing you can do. And they also said, oh, you're too weak, you're too fragile, you're going to fall down and hurt yourself. Well, let me tell you, that's what they told me 50 years ago, that would happen to women. That women were too weak and too fragile. We're changing the world right now. I'm very excited about this.
And you don't have to be a marathon runner to start your journey towards aging active.
You certainly don't. Maybe I recommend against that.
Begin with a single step, whatever it is. I know that I walk almost every single day, and my girlfriend and I, we walk and we talk, and it's a way to get us out there. It's a way to keep us moving. It's a way to keep us, active, and it's so good. And I sleep so much better because of it.
Yes, but Wendy, you're also sharing the secrets of your soul with the person you walk with. And, it's almost like daydreaming, and it's really very, very therapeutic and stress-busting.
Yes, it really is. So if you just tuned in, I'm talking to historic runner Kathrine Switzer. Do they still say that about you?
They do, but then they're also very excited that I'm still alive because they've been hearing my story for 52 years.
Isn't it? Can you imagine it was 52 years ago, that famous day?
Well, you know what? Let me tell you about one of the best days in my life, or maybe the best day of my life, which was April 17th, 2017, when I ran the Boston Marathon again on my 50th anniversary. And this effectively began my partnership with Humana, which is interesting because, they said, you are representing active aging, and this is really fantastic that you're the first woman in history to run a marathon 50 years after you had your first one. I said, well, that's the only thing that's unusual about that is how few women ran 50 years ago.
True.
And they said, well, you're also 70 years age. And I said, well, there are lots of people who are 70, 80, 90 who are running.
Amazing.
And at the senior games, you're going to see people over 100. But anyway, it began a wonderful partnership.
A wonderful. And National Senior Games athlete Carol Kleffner. How did you two get involved? Was it with Humana?
Yes, through the senior games. And just being part of the 13,000 athletes who are going to be there in Albuquerque.
Oh, my gosh. Amazing. That's so exciting. So we're just talking about simple ways to empower seniors to start their personal health journey. And like we said, you don't have to be a marathon runner. You can start with a single, simple step, volunteer at a local 5K or nonprofit, walk in your community, right? It's a great way to combat loneliness, social isolation while giving back. You can train with a group. There's so many things that we can do now to stay active.
For example, so many people had ping pong tables as children, and it's such an easy sport to get involved in at rec centers or Y's, and it's low impact, and it's just fun and great training for your mind and focus.
Well, people always say, oh, I can't do that, I'm too old or whatever. Honestly, you are never too old to begin to do something new, and you need to just take that first step. And when you get off the sofa and get out there, you have a wonderful sense of socialization. And that gives you a sense of optimism and friendship. And you say, hey, it doesn't matter if I'm a champion or not. I'm just doing it. And everybody will applaud you. A sport is so inclusive, diverse, and motivational. It doesn't matter. If you're the last person in the event, you get cheered just as much as the winner.
I love that because you're out there, you're doing something. Carol Kleffner, Kathrine Switzer, thank you so much again for being here, both of you. And Kathrine, it was a pleasure to have you back again.
Great, Wendy. Let's keep up the relationship.
Yep, you got it. Both of you. Good luck. Good luck, you two.
Thank you.
Thanks for motivating us. Okay, take care.